My ex-fiance ghosted me before our wedding, and now she wants to reconcile.
Oh, I think you're a little too late for that, Missy.
That's just a little too late. My 38 female ex-fiance ghosted me, 39 male, before our wedding. I was never given an explanation. She just left and told nobody. It was literally right before our big wedding ceremony. She didn't leave a note, nothing. She just left. Even her family was baffled. She just up and left. We had dated all through high school and all through college. And by the way, this comes from user Throwaway and Ghosting Adventure. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do in this situation. So if you would do something different, let us know in the comments. As OP says, she eventually returned, but not to me. I had to learn via third party, her parents, that she had no intentions of coming home. She wanted nothing to do with me and told her parents to avoid having me around. I never got a choice in the matter. I respected her wishes. Yeah, because what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
She's just like, I want nothing to do with my fiance I was going to marry. It's like, okay.
Right. What, I'm going to beg for that back? Should probably move this, huh?
You're going to have to live with that now, which is, I guess, fair, fine, or whatever. You got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
It's not your fault, or it could be, but you can't do that. This is a conversation that needs to happen before the day of the wedding.
Yep, exactly.
I never understood why she did it. My only guess was she had a mental breakdown because she cut off all contact with everyone. We were both young and still growing. I don't know, but I've struggled with it since. Out of the blue, she DM'd me on Facebook after all these years and wanted to meet up. It was an influx of emotions: anger, nervousness, hope, sadness. I still had feelings for her. I didn't know if I could take her back, but looking at her Facebook made me miss her. She looked even better than before, and she was single.
Ruh-roh.
I don't know, brother. I think it's time to let this one go.
Who's to say?
I was conflicted. She wouldn't talk about why she left. She said it was best to do so in person. And the only thing I could tell from her Facebook was a bunch of posts about her being weak, living a life full of shame and regret, and being lonely. This was dumb. She ghosted me, and I should want nothing to do with her, but dang it, I still had feelings for her, and I never stopped thinking about her. What should I do? Ghost her in return? Call her out? See where this date takes us? And there's some comments. But what would y'all say? I say get info. I just want to get the perspective.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely want to know and possibly hear her out, but I would probably be coming into it with a whole lot of doubt and a whole lot of protection for yourself. You know,
Let's have a seance with this ghost. Let's get some information.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. I think you really just need to keep in mind that this is maybe not someone that you should go back to, even if you want to.
Yeah.
And if she's posting about, all these things that she's done and being shameful and regretful and just feeling bad about herself, she's posting about all of that online. It doesn't seem like she's maybe in the best mental health space right now. So I wouldn't trust it just yet.
Yeah. Comments. Comment 1. First off, dang, OP, that's rough. 16 years is a long time. Would meeting up with her set you back in the time you've spent getting over this, or will it give you the closure you never found? OP says, I don't know. I just want closure. For the longest time, I thought she had cheated on me, but the only things I've been told from her family and the few friends she didn't cut off, it was more like MNTB, aka mental breakdown.
MNTB.
Quick little MNTB. I know she was very scared about the wedding and her looming finals and her career. She was beyond stressed, and she ghosted everyone, but gradually came back. However, I was never involved. I have never stopped thinking of her. Reply says, are you single? Closure can only be found within yourself. If you've not moved on in 16 years, therapy will help you more than meeting with her. You two were barely even adults when she abandoned you, and she is now approaching midlife crisis age and trying to go back to when she was a kid with you, because she hasn't managed to grow and mature into a person she's satisfied with. It sounds like you have been similarly stunted. Cut contact and find therapy. Comment 2 says, I'm sorry, but 16 years is not a mental breakdown. She bailed and doesn't deserve any closure with you. Go ahead and meet with her, but all it'll do is keep giving you what ifs. 1 to 2 years would be a breakdown. 16 years is like you never knew the person in the first place. Comment 3 says, ask her to write a letter to you about what happened. Then read it and decide if you want to meet in person. And there's an update. I don't know if I would do the letter thing.
Yeah, I feel like just tell me in person.
Yeah. I'm going to be able to sense more of like, all right, how much of this is a lie? What's real?
Right.
How are you actually acting, responding
Right.
in person? I'm going to be able to tell that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have an update.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like doing it for closure isn't really a reason. I kind of agree that with that commenter that's like closure only really comes from yourself. I feel like people do a lot of things for closure and like talking to exes and stuff like that when maybe they shouldn't. In this case, I still wouldn't call it closure, but I'm just curious and I want to know what happens. So I vote talk to her.
Yes, you got to do a little digging.
Yep.
16 years needs something, but you got to make sure that it's not going to like bite you,
Exactly.
on the back end.
Exactly.
Hope he says, well, that was something. I got closure at least.
Uh-oh.
We met at a cafe and sat outside to talk. The first thing I noticed was how much pain was in her face. Long story short, she wanted to break up long before the wedding, but she was too weak and cowardly to speak up for herself. She had a complete nervous breakdown over everything. She had been tired of being forced into doing things she never wanted to do and never having the guts to stand up for herself. She was mad at her family for pressuring her to get married and pump out kids, and she was mad at them for forcing her into a degree she didn't want, and she was mad at herself for not being able to speak up. Nothing she did was justified, which we agreed on. When I first proposed to her, I did it in a public area. I had put her on the spot, and she wanted to say no, but she couldn't bear to see me hurt. She was right. I made all the choices for her. I was a very different person back then, and she was very meek, meaning she just went with the flow and had no backbone. I drowned her voice out often and never gave her the chance to grow into a person. Back then, I was focused only on myself. Eventually, everything came to a climax, and she had a complete mental breakdown. She ran away from her problems at the behest of her best friend, the only person in the world she ever trusted. She said the only thing she knew how to do was run. She never had the spine to speak up, and her life spiraled downwards. She was homeless for a few years after her best friend's husband exiled her from their place. The rest of that time was spent in prison, though she didn't specify what she did.
Oh, wow.
She was released about a year ago and has been turning her life around. She has a job, she's reconnected with her parents, and she's finally reconnecting with me. She never stopped trying to get in touch with me. As for our future, we have none. We both agreed to end things and go our separate ways. We're both changed, and we're both two different people. We have nothing in common anymore and don't live near each other. She doesn't justify what she did, nor does she want to be forgiven. She thinks it's repulsive and is ashamed of her action. I wanted to be angry, but I really couldn't be. I just forgave her. And by the way, I'll forgive you. For anything, as long as you listen to full episodes with stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen, just search OK Storytime and you can listen to the full archive. And we have a little bit more story left.
I'm so shocked right now. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
To that one comment that was saying like, a few years is a mental breakdown, but 16 years? Yeah, apparently 16 years is still a mental breakdown.
Well, and to be fair, I think that they were saying like it was more like the impetus of the running away from the wedding was a mental breakdown, not that she was in a constant mental breakdown for 16 years.
Well, yes.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean like
because I think that's what that comment was trying to imply.
Oh,
it was like 16 years isn't a mental breakdown. Like that was a choice. It's like, no, I think they were saying that a mental breakdown caused the initial split and ghosting.
Right.
And then clearly she went through a lot. And now, y'all are different people. But you just needed this conversation to realize, like, all right,
just to explain
over.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just proof that, like, you truly don't know the whole story, man. There's things can happen that are so insane and crazy wazy, and you just don't even know. Life is pretty cuckoo, man.
Crazy wazy. Let's finish this story then.
Whew.
This crazy wazy storazy. With that, we shook hands, said our goodbyes, and that will likely be the last time we ever see one another. It's bittersweet, because I got the closure I wanted. I mean, we both did. It feels like a burden was released. I know now we never had a future together and never will, but on the other hand, I'm sad because it's all over. All these years of hoping something would happen were for nothing. But in the end, this is an ending, and I finally have closure. Not many get to say that. Do I believe her story? Yes, I do. And even if she's full of it, at this point, does it even matter? I've always known her to be very weak-willed and meek. She often just does what everyone else tells her to do and runs when things get too difficult. She avoids her problems because she's too weak to stand up to them. It makes sense why her family wouldn't talk to me about her. They were the typical tiger parents who disowned their problem child. Comments. Comment 1. Although a lot of time has been lost for either of them, it seems odd that no one noticed the situation of her problems earlier on. It is explained in the post, but it still sounds weird. And the reply says it sounds like she was repressing a lot, bottling it up. Her friend, though, she should have been the one to see it. OP says her friend was an enabler. I mean, we all were. Her friend was the only one who encouraged her to run. Of course, nobody forced her to. It was all her. If I hadn't ignored her problems, and if I actually had been a part of her life, I might have seen it, but it is what it is. And that is the end of that story.
I'm claiming custody of my son even before he's born.
Well, I mean, that sounds about right.
So I, 28 female, am pregnant with my second child, a daughter. My first is 7 years old from a previous relationship. My current partner, 34 male, and I got into a fight today following several other fights about my 7-year-old. By the way, this comes from Hatflat7690. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you do in the comments. And OP says, my 7-year-old doesn't like him. Generally, she's one of the most kind and polite children you'd ever meet. I've been told this by countless people, but she's not very fond of my boyfriend. It became noticeable because she would forget to say hi or bye to him, even ignoring him at times when he'd say it first. When I'd ask her why, she'd say she forgot to acknowledge him or didn't hear him. Several talks and months later, I got her to understand that it's rude to not greet people, especially in their own home. She now says hi and bye, but that is pretty much all she says to him. If we're all in the same room, she'll usually only talk to me, only show me things, or only look for me when she needs help, even if he's clearly available. After talking some more, I got her to admit she didn't like him. Her reasons were because she feels I spend more time with him. Before we moved in with him, me and her had slept in the same bed. I kept my relationship somewhat separate from her. This is the first time she's experienced me in a relationship this serious, so I can see why it would be an adjustment. When I have her Wednesday through Sunday, she's with her dad Sunday through Wednesday. We practice Spanish, cook together, sometimes craft or play outside, so I do spend a lot of time with her. After another talk, she admitted she wanted me and her dad back together and wasn't really interested in getting to know my boyfriend. I asked her if she'd rather live with her dad, and she said yes, because she has more fun there. With all of these talks and all of her different answers, my boyfriend labels her as a liar since her reasoning in the beginning was because she forgot to say hi and not because she didn't like him. I think she's just a regular 7-year-old trying to understand her own feelings. This has caused him to feel like he can't trust what she says and has taken it as far as saying that I'm not parenting correctly since it hasn't gotten better. He says he doesn't want a liar around his daughter and will keep my 2 girls apart.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry.
I don't like that.
I'm sorry, he's calling your 7-year-old daughter a liar because she didn't feel super comfortable around him?
Yeah, I just don't like it. I
Yikes.
just don't like what he's doing here.
Me neither. While I do understand him being upset about feeling her not liking him or including him in anything, I feel he's being extremely dramatic. Regardless of my differing opinion, I've tried to explain to my daughter that most people don't feel like it's okay to have someone that doesn't like them around their child and that she needs to try and be his friend. On the other hand, my boyfriend and I have been fighting for 2 nights straight because I believe he should also be putting in extra effort as the adult.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Not also, he should be. And she
That's like the
shouldn't need
main
to.
priority. It's not really like
Yeah.
go to the daughter and say, you have to be nice to him or
Right.
else. It's
She's like 7,
she's
right?
7 years old.
That's crazy.
He's not mean to her or a bad guy, which she has said herself, but that makes him believe that he doesn't need to do more. When we moved into his house, he let her paint her room pink. He carried her up the creek in our backyard. He built her a futon bed. And when he builds, he lets her help or watch and teaches her things. Those things are what he brings up when I tell him he should put more effort in. He feels he's put enough in that she has no reason not to like him. and he refuses to cater to a child. All this led to multiple heated discussions about the situation. At first, I listened to his feelings, talked to my daughter about it, and reassured him that it was being worked on. Recently, though, he began being nasty to me during these talks. He brings it up before she has time to make progress and makes the threat that she can't be around her sister if nothing changes. His tone has been more aggressive, cursing and getting louder, and he tells me time and time again how I'm doing a bad job because of the lack of change. I don't trust this guy. Your 7-year-old already doesn't like him.
I don't like him at all. This
None.
is wild.
Not a little bit.
Threatening that she can't see her sister
Yeah.
because she's, 7 years old and not, like, always saying hi
Do you
to
know
you?
how many times a 7-year-old's gonna lie to you?
Yeah.
They're 7.
A whole
Lying
lot,
is in
dude.
their, 7-year-old makeup. That's just
Yeah.
how that works.
And saying that you won't cater to her?
Yeah,
I mean,
on.
how are you
I
gonna
don't
have
know. I
kids
was
of
gonna
your
say,
own?
kids are usually brutally honest too.
Yeah, but they also
Yeah.
tell like really dumb lies.
That's very true.
True.
They're like, no, I didn't do that.
And you're like, are
Uh-uh.
you sure?
Like I can see there's crumbs on your face. I
Right.
didn't eat it.
yeah, exactly.
Did you
They
take
tell
the
really dumb
cookies?
lies. What?
Did you take the cookies? They're like, no.
No.
Yeah. And there's also just a reason that, she's not saying hi. Like maybe if you were nice to her, didn't
Yeah.
make her feel so scared of you, then maybe she would want to say hi.
Yeah,
Yep.
the fact that you're making a kid uncomfortable, I get it, but like to be offended by that she's like not cool with you by
Yeah.
a 7-year-old, come on.
Come
Yeah.
on.
I think we need to break up with this guy.
I
for
agree.
sure.
I'm 8 months pregnant and getting fed up with the pressure being put on me. The more aggressive he gets, the less willing I am to just shut up and listen. That alone is another issue. He believes he should have control of the conversation and that if I'm being disagreeable, I should shut the F up, which he's been saying to me quite often lately. No.
If anyone says that to me once,
If anyone says shut the F up to me,
done. Over.
done. At this point, I feel like not only is he picking on my child, but he's also taking his anger out on me. He's told me countless times he's going to end up leaving me, and he wants the baby a majority of the time. He believes he's smarter than me and that I'm not a good enough parent, and I believe that you should break up.
Yeah, you should record all of these conversations, record him yelling at you and talking to the child, and then use that in court against him.
Oh, well, to get custody, yeah.
Mhm.
I believe he's being ignorant, prideful, and selfish. Overall, I'm afraid he's going to try and keep my daughter away from me and try to control me having my other daughter around. I've been thinking of just going straight to court to request full or joint custody just to guarantee he can't take the baby away from me, but I know that this will set him off and cause more problems. Would I be the a-hole if I took him to court before the baby is even born? An update, but before we get into that update, do you have any thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny that this guy's kind of threatened by a 7-year-old.
Yeah,
Yeah, honestly.
That's
honestly.
really funny.
literally. Like, what are you doing? Just go, I
pathetic.
don't know,
This is just
Have a
stemming from
tea party
him
with
having
her.
beef with a 7-year-old.
a 7-year-old
Literally.
because she doesn't like him.
Yeah, that's so insane. I think, yeah, it probably will cause problems. Of course, he's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah.
I think that's 100% worth it, though, because if he does end up causing more problems, like, then you get a restraining order. And if he causes problems, then that's just even more reason to not keep him around.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
this is not someone that you should be around, not someone that should be around your kids. And
No.
it's worth it. Just deal with the problems to get him over with.
Get him out of there. Update. Just to address a few things, most importantly, her reasoning for not liking him has nothing to do with SA. I've grown up around a lot of women who have experienced that type of harmful act. And even though I trust my partner and even have a male best friend of 15 years, as a mother, I've never been comfortable leaving my little girl alone with a man. My work schedule fits around her school schedule and she doesn't need a babysitter. In rare situations where she does, my niece watches her. So I've never left her alone with my partner. Also, he doesn't verbally abuse her. He's made it a point that he can't say much to her because he's not her father. I've told him that as an adult and the man of the house, he can tell her things as long as he isn't mean or nasty. But he refuses because he believes he might come off that way anyway. I believe her dislike of him comes from her sensing his energy or having some jealousy in seeing me settle down with someone for the first time. Some of you are also saying, why would I be with or get pregnant by someone my daughter doesn't like? If I knew, I wouldn't have. This wasn't a problem before I moved in, and I got pregnant fairly quickly afterward. For all the nasty comments about child support, that's the furthest thing from my mind. He makes more money than me, but I make a decent amount and never asked him for money. It might be a pride thing on my part, but I do it on my own before asking him to step up and do what he knows he should. Money is not an issue. Moving out of state isn't an option as I'm a cosmetologist and my license is only valid in the state I'm in. Also, my daughter's father and school are here and I'm not willing to leave my daughter for too long. All that being said, I packed and left yesterday. I'm at my brother's for the time being. The last fight my partner and I got into, he did end up telling me to get out Friday. So Saturday I spent the day at my mom's with my daughter, and Sunday morning I dropped her off at her dad's and went to work. After work, I went home and started packing immediately. By the way, you should go listen to full episodes immediately with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up Storytime. There is a little bit left of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I'm glad she seems like she's getting out of there.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully she goes to court and does get custody. And just to be sure, the 7-year-old is not his daughter,
No,
right? Okay.
she has a 7-year-old with another guy.
That's right.
But she's having the new baby with this boyfriend.
Right. Yeah, I think get on those recordings and
Yep.
screenshots of all of your text messages and stuff. And get out of there.
Yeah, at the very least, so you can get joint custody. But before you
Very
even
least.
think about taking him to court, definitely make sure you have an exit plan
Mm-hmm.
and a place to live.
Yeah.
Alex from TikTok says, if you can't control your own kids, it's your fault, not the partner's.
Wait.
Agreed. But also, I don't think it's on the partner to control your kid. However, I don't think this is a problem of controlling her.
Yeah.
Rather, she doesn't feel comfortable around him, and he's making no efforts to fix that.
Exactly. He's saying that it's a problem that she's not being controlled, but there's no grounds.
But we got a little bit left of the story.
All right.
I only waited to avoid my daughter being in any of the chaos of packing and moving. When he realized what I was doing, he seemed shocked and claimed not to remember telling me to leave. He ended up apologizing a bunch, saying he didn't actually want me to go. We talked for a bit, but ultimately I stood my ground and left. I feel broken, but I'm safe. Thank you everyone for the advice and resources. I didn't expect to get this many comments, but the reassurance of leaving being the right decision makes it easier. I know it might have been the clear option for a lot of you, but it's hard to accept that I put myself and yet another child in a position of a broken home with no way to repair it. And that is the end of the story.
My ex married his affair partner, and I refused to have her near my kids.
Don't come near me or my kids ever again.
And this comes directly from the r/OK Storytime
dang.
subreddit. Directly. This is one of our own.
Woo.
So, we were married for 11 years. He has a daughter from a previous marriage, all called Jordan. She was 4 when we got together and is autistic. Her mother was never in her life, so when we got together, I just stepped in. By the way, this comes from ToughRip4755, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. All we can say is what we would do in this situation, but let us know what you would do down below in the comments. So, OP says, I also have a daughter from a previous marriage who was a year old when I got with my ex, and her dad wasn't involved either. I'll call her Sophie. We also had 2 boys together who are now 11 and 9. When we got divorced, they were 2 and 4 years old. Our divorce was the result of an affair, and he ended up marrying his affair partner just 4 days after our divorce was finalized.
And that's what we call overlap.
That is crazy.
Yikes.
At the time, my 4-year-old was all about his dad and wanted nothing to do with me whenever his dad was around. My ex would get home from work, and our son wanted to sit on his lap while they ate. When his dad sat down to watch TV, our son had to be right there with him. They have a bond that I can't explain. The divorce traumatized him. He called for his dad nonstop and cried for months. During that time, his dad wouldn't accept my calls when our son wanted to talk to him and wasn't very involved. Oh my goodness. He went off the rails for a while. Since then, things have changed. His daughter is 20 now and will never live on her own, so we share her. Luckily, after the divorce, I kept her full-time the first year or so. Then, when he started to get his life together, we began joint co-parenting. She is mentally like an 8 or 9-year-old and needs a lot of care. She can't make her own food, wash her own hair, etc. I've been fortunate that he allowed me to stay in her life because I was terrified of losing her when we separated. We divorced in the summer of 2018, so many years have passed. The first couple of years after were non-stop fighting. It was so stressful. I started therapy right away and still go now when I feel like I need it. It took me a long time to work through the heartache, bitterness, and anger towards our dad. Our son, now 11, also started therapy a couple of years back. He went alone, with each of us separately, and sometimes with all of us together. We've made a lot of progress. He carried anger towards his dad's wife for, quote, taking his dad, and was so angry with his dad for leaving us. Time in therapy, it created space, and now they are starting to get close again. During therapy, he said that he wanted his dad and me, along with the kids, to do things together so he could have us both. At the time, I was reserved and nervous, but I wanted to give him what he needed. Fast forward a couple years, and now we go to functions together, and once every couple of months, out to dinner with all the kids. Our communication is very open, and I tell my ex everything about the kids. We live 3 hours apart, so I try to keep him as involved as possible. Here's our problem. Our boys hate their stepmom. Some of it, yeah, some of it is the history between us all, but also because she doesn't treat them well. She's insecure and jealous of the relationship that my 11-year-old has with his dad. When the kids visited her and their dad, she tried to separate them and wouldn't let them have alone time. A few years ago, my son colored a picture for her and gave it to her. She threw it in the garbage right in front of him and said that she didn't want it.
Why do you have beef with an 11-year-old?
Dude.
You freak?
That is crazy.
Come on.
Oh my gosh. That same visit, while his dad was at work, she made him stay in his room all day and told him not to come out. Word got back to me and I flipped. Dude, that is like some Cinderella type stuff.
Literally, I'm sorry. Is this Rapunzel? You gonna lock her in her tower?
Oh my gosh. There have been many other incidents, and she makes it very clear that she doesn't like him or want him around. She's decent to the younger boy, but he's a mama's boy and doesn't have as close of a bond with his dad, although his dad is really working on it. When therapy first started, our very first visit included his dad, me, and our son. Our son was in tears the whole time and immediately said that he didn't want to be around her anymore. I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be around her either.
Yeah.
She's locking me in rooms and saying, I hate you.
And she's questioning why I have a closer relationship with my dad?
Yeah, she's like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I want to be closer with your dad than you are.
Just like stay in your room though.
Stay in your lane,
but
girl
like
lady.
Love me. Thankfully, his dad listened and no longer takes him to their house 3 hours away, except for big holidays like Christmas. During those visits, they are never left alone with her. If their dad runs errands or leaves, the boys go with him. He works a 7 on, 7 off schedule, so on his days off, he travels here to spend time with them. During those trips, she isn't invited. That's also when we swap Jordan between us. When he visits, I'm usually working, but if I'm off, he often invites me to dinner with them or other activities. It's been peaceful between us, and the boys are happy. The kids all have their own phones, and he texts them daily and calls every couple of days. He and I text often about the kids. His wife hates that and doesn't want us talking at all. Well, I don't care.
It's not really up to you.
Yeah. All heck breaks loose for him if I go anywhere with them when he visits. If he stays too long in my house, she blows up his phone. She tracks him and demands to know why he's there so long, even if it's just 5 minutes to drop off the boys. When it's just him and the boys, she constantly calls and texts, checking in. The boys complain because even when they're at the park, he's glued to his phone. I know he's trying to keep the peace with her, but it only makes the kids dislike her more. My 11-year-old doesn't want to be around her at all and tells his dad exactly how he feels, curse words and all. I don't allow cussing, but in those moments, I let him have his feelings. She's very insecure about me. She was his affair partner, and although he cheated on me with her, that doesn't mean that I'd do that to her. I don't have romantic feelings for him, but I admit it's nice having a co-parent that I can rely on. We deal with constant issues with school and his medications while trying to stabilize him. His emotions often come out as anger when he's overwhelmed or overstimulated. We've really had to work together to support him. I love that I'm not handling it alone. Having his daughter and our youngest both on the spectrum is hard, but it helps knowing that he's in this with me. Because of his wife's behavior, I no longer allow the boys to be around her. In fact, I blocked her on their phones. She has zero contact with them except on holidays when their dad is present. Sometimes I feel guilty because if I were in her shoes, I wouldn't like my husband being close friends with his ex or talking as much as we do. I get it. But from my side, I know it's not that. We're just parenting. This is just so obviously because their relationship started while he was married.
Yeah.
So
it's like you can't be jealous
yeah.
and all like, I don't know, just all
Paranoid.
controlling when you're the one who took OP's husband.
Yeah.
Like, you are the cheater. Yeah, you're going to be insecure because you got into a relationship with a guy who was married.
Right. Exactly. It's not a great start to a relationship. So that's your deal. Like, I agree. Like, if I was married and my partner was like talking all the time with their ex, then like, yeah, it'd be like kind of weird. But if they're co-parenting,
They're
then
co-parenting.
no, it's not. Like, that's so normal.
Yeah.
I know her feelings are hurt that she isn't included when he visits, but the damage she's caused is still being repaired. Their dad doesn't share school or medical information with her or any private details about the kids. That's smart. He's put his foot down and she hates that. Personally, I wouldn't want to be in a relationship like theirs. And by the way, I would love to be in a relationship like you and me, and what that relationship would be is you guys watching full episodes with more stories just like this one on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever favorite podcast app you choose. Just search OK Storytime.
And let's have a relationship.
Let's have a lovely parasocial relationship.
Mano y mano.
Yeah. But there is a little bit more into the story, but yeah, it's not even that she's been crappy because of like little comments that she said or just like generally doesn't spend time with them or something like that. She did some crazy,
She's locking them in rooms.
literally evil stepmother.
Yeah, come on.
So
I wouldn't
dude,
even want him to like have the kids around her at all.
like even on holidays.
No, I'd be like, hey, custody agreement.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's wife
Yeah.
is doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's wild. And I mean, hopefully they can talk to the dad about like being on his phone all the time because it seems like, you know, they're working on their relationship. The dad is working on his relationship with the kids. But yeah, being on your phone all the time when you're supposed to be spending quality time.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
I'd be fine including her in family functions, but we've tried that. Her rude comments and constant drama ruined it. I can stay peaceful in front of the kids, but she cannot. She's even told me off in front of them. I should add that my ex was 43 when he met her, and there's nearly a 20-year age gap. A lot of it is immaturity on her part, and it's clear that she has a lot of growing up to do. I do feel sorry for her because I know it must hurt, but I also have to protect my children and help them heal. Am I the a-hole for cutting off contact between her and the kids and for talking to their dad as much as I do? Am I out of line? Any advice would be wonderful, and if anyone knows a better way to deal with this, I am open to suggestions. And that's the end of that story.
And there you go, folks.
Yeah, I feel like, no, I mean, you're talking about parenting stuff.
Yeah.
That's important to talk about.
Agreed.
So there's nothing wrong with
she
that.
needs to change her attitude, or
Yeah.
he needs to change who he's in a relationship with.